Bravo, Josh Morris, 14 years in the game, 300 game milestone. What an achievement, a well-deserved one.
Yeah, it's special for him. We're really privileged to have him play his 300th game here, and then also to play with his brother. To play the way that he's played for 300 games, the style that he's played, the domination that he's had there at that centre role for such a long time, and then to still be performing at that sort of level. Yeah, it's pretty special. I don't know how many backs, outside backs, are up in that list. You know, a lot of forwards, some halves there with Terry Lamb and obviously Coops and those guys. But yeah, I'm interested in how many outside backs have got there. So yeah, pretty special.
When he did come over to the Roosters, what were you most excited about with coaching him?
Well, a couple of things. Obviously, Latrell leaving left a spot open there at left centre. Billy Smith was coming through in that area and did his ACL, so there was a definite need there at left centre. So that was, and he's a specialist. He's about to play probably 250 of those 300 games in that position, so that was a need. But then also the human side of it is you really want that reunion with his brother. They're so close, they're best mates as well. So then to have them stand next to each other is in the one team, it creates a great environment as well.
Can't shy away from one of the big talking points this week of Sonny Bill.
Who's that?
Gearing up. I said you can't shy away from another big talking point this weekend with Sonny Bill named to make his return. Yeah, it's well, a couple of things. It's good to have Sonny back. It's been great to have him back in the group. It's exciting to get him out there and start playing. He's fitted back in seamlessly into our group. He's quite obviously kept in contact with quite a few of those guys from a few years ago. So it's great to have him back in, and it's good to get him back out there on Saturday.
Robbo, it's Jaleesa from Channel 9. There seemed to be some thought that he might actually not play this weekend. Is he a definite certainty?
A definite certainty. He's ready to go. I don't go through all the lineups and the 21, but I know that this is an important occasion for people to watch. And he'll be out there on Saturday.
He said earlier in the week that he wasn't quite where his fitness wanted him to be. I imagine he's got pretty high standards of himself. What do you think about his fitness? Yeah,
he's ready to play. I think that's not having played probably since March with Toronto. It's been a span of time for him, and it's important to get back out there and get the match fitness. You can run around, sit on a bike, do whatever you like for as much as you like, but getting that match fitness is important. So we'll start that step on Saturday.
Robert, what has he said to you? What has he said to you about putting back on the jersey, a jersey that gave him so much when he was in the game? What does it say that it's going to mean to him on the weekend?
Yeah, look, we haven't gone into those depths as much as just saying that he's proud to be back. He's humbled to be back in and around. I think he's said enough about how he enjoys being here. So, I think it's time.
Robbo, has the challenge been as much fitting him into your systems and getting him back used to the structure as it has been his fitness? Like, has it sort of been two things you've broken up into, two different training blocks for him?
Yeah, so there's the physical needs, getting him physically ready to play, and then there's the other part, which is understanding the system, which he did. There's more depth to our system now, and he's a learned guy. He studies hard. He would do as much video as anybody that I've seen. He would write down as many notes as he needs to write down, and that's how he gets his preparation as well.
I think Teddy mentioned earlier in the week about the notes, and you mentioned it there. Is that something many players do in video sessions? Are they actually taking notes, or is that something he's just done because he's been away from the system for a while?
Yeah, it's varied depending on guys have been doing it for a long time. Like an Isaac Liu will write down everything in a book. Mitchell Orbison, and some guys don't. Some guys have prefer memory. Luke Keary or Victor Radley don't forget anything, but they'll bring out everything that you've talked about. So it's just a personal preference there.
And what about the hype, mate? Like, obviously, we've all spoken about it for 4 weeks now. I know you're sick of us asking about it, but have you had to sort of talk to the players about the hype, or is it just because you've got such a mature squad, it's not even something you have to address?
Yeah, Scott, I'm really excited to have him back. I knew what bringing him back would do, so I'm definitely not sick of it. I'm really excited. I think it's great for the game. I think it's great for fans to watch. I've had a lot of people mention the excitement, but internally, externally, that is the biggest talking point. Internally, it's how do we want to play? We want to get better every game, and that includes this weekend. We want to nail the way that we want to play on Saturday night, and we want to honour Josh Morris playing 300 games. That's the internal focus for us. We're really excited about having Sonny get started with us, and the external focus will be large on that, which is great, which is really important as a Rooster and as a fan of rugby league.
Although not only for the fans, but how exciting is this for the players that are going to come up against him? I know so many of them used to watch him and they do idolise him, and they've been very vocal about how excited they are to come up against him. But how cool is that to hear that other players, Ricky Stewart included in that, speaking about him coming back and them having the challenge of saying that they get to come up against Sonny Bill?
Well, I think it's he's got an aura about him. He's earned that through achieving in many different places and challenging himself. He was an extreme athlete that ended up pushing his limits, not just physically but mentally, and people respect that. And I think that's what we've seen. And that's why I feel like we're really honoured to have him back in the NRL. And it's a real feather in the cap of the game as well that we've got him here, and that people will be watching around the world to do that. So that external focus is really important, as we know this year. It's very important that we get eyeballs on our game, and we understand that. Internally, let's get better.
Robbo, do you expect John Bateman to be pretty fired up? He's already been on Twitter tweeting the matchup.
Yeah, is that new thing, Twitter? Is that just?
Yeah, it's just come around. You should get on it.
I should get on it. That'd be great. Yeah, I mean that's the excitement that goes about the match. I'd expect our players to be fired up to pull on a jersey to play in a game. So I think that's the most important. Is the internal drive about how much do you want to play and perform.
Robbo, what has Josh said to you about leading into his 300th game? He must be, I'm sure, very, very excited.
Yeah, he's more of an extrovert than Brett. So it's been good having the two different personalities there. And he's driven as always. He's vocal in what he wants to do on the field, in the meetings, on the field, and on the training paddock. So it's the focus is high.
How exciting is it that this isn't even the end for him? There's still many years left in those legs.
Yeah, I think just turned 34. The focus on there's a hunger there for him, and you see that. They're obviously getting to the age where you start contemplating those things. But then the physical body and the mind tell you to keep going, and the drive to perform. So that's still high.
Well, about how close are Orbo and Angus playing tomorrow?
Yeah, close. As I said, look, I'm not one I want to go into all the team changes and all of that going into a game. I think it's important to say that Sonny's playing for certain reasons, but we'll finalise that after the session today.
Fair play. What about top four, Robbo? I mean, obviously it's a pretty big game for that. And would you agree that the top four this year is probably more important than ever, but just in that you get yourself a chance of having a week off in a season where there haven't really been any rests?
The drive to perform and be as high on the table as possible is important. I think, as you know, that the path that you're going to take, you'll decide and you'll make it work. So a part of that for us is Saturday night. So let's decide well on Saturday night how we're going to play and what our path's going to look like. But I don't think you're going to restrict yourself to any negative thoughts when it comes to paths to winning something.
Rob, I was talking about, yeah. No, I was going to ask that as well. Luke Keary is also an integral piece to the puzzle this year, and he's returned this week in a match that is expected to be played at finals intensity. Robbo, how important is it that he gets out there and puts in a decent performance and tests his own fitness heading into finals?
Yeah, I think we obviously out for the last couple of weeks. We put him back in when he's ready to play and perform, and he's an important piece of the puzzle for us. You know, I think the guys have done very well over the last couple of weeks in Kyle and Drew in the way that they've performed in that position. I'm really proud of the way that they kept driving forward our standards, and now it's up to Luke to get back in and play to his standard, which is very high.
Rob, I was just going to ask about Luke. Like, the injury looked pretty serious the other week. Has he done well behind the scenes, or is he ahead of schedule, or is the injury's just ready to go?
Yeah, he trained quite well last week, leading up to that game, without contact. So he was running well and running against our team last week. So he's had a full week of preparation.
Is it one of those injuries, Robbo? Is there still a slight fracture there potentially? Like you'd expect, he might get a few rib shots this week.
Yeah, that's part and parcel with the game. He's ready to go. He's ready to play.
Robbo, another player that's been influential in our game has been Benji Marshall, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on him wanting to go around again.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I didn't know that. An amazing player. I've been watching him before, from when I actually last pulled on the boots. So he's been around for way too long. He's been a great player, a very good player to come up against, and you have to think long and hard as a coach when you're playing Benji. So. As I said about Josh, if you feel it in your body and you feel it in your mind, then he can decide to keep going.
Do you consider offering him a spot at the Roosters?
No, we've got enough halves, thanks, Tanisha.